Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma. Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma. Texas.
All right, welcome everybody to Russ's Weather Recon. We're going to jump in here with some severe weather coverage this evening. Got a little bit going on out there in Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas. And we will get you over to the radar screen. Right. This is what our current radar looks like. This is north central Oklahoma. You got Stillwater, Oklahoma City, and south of Wichita. So it'll be south and east of Wichita up here in Kansas. And got quite a little bit going on. The red warning boxes that you're seeing here in Oklahoma, those are all severe thunderstorm warnings. As of right now, we don't have any tornado warnings to speak of. It's not to say that it will not happen. It is expected to happen. Expected to have a handful of tornadoes. We do have a tornado watch across south central, well, actually across the entire central part of the state of Oklahoma in this general area, and then the southern tier of counties across southern Kansas, all the way to about west of Independence and Coffeyville, all the way back over to south and west of Wichita, and then south into Oklahoma. They just issued another tornado watch until later on this evening, until, well, let me do some checking here.
Special weather statement. Texas.
The tornado watch is in Missouri and southwestern Missouri and off points to the east towards Springfield, Missouri. That goes until about 1 a.m. in the morning. And the tornado watch further south into Oklahoma, that goes on until about midnight tonight. So got a pretty active evening of severe weather this evening. Had some reports of looks like some large hail here in Oklahoma, west of Stillwater, and then further south, north, looks like south and west of Kingfisher, Oklahoma. They had some reports of a hail, about 2.5 inch size hail, so about tennis ball size hail. That's pretty good size. Pretty good size hail in north central Oklahoma with some of these cells. Let's give you some information on where these particular cells here in Oklahoma are affecting currently. Looks like some pretty darn good size hail here north and west of Red Rock with this storm. That's moving off to the north and east at about 60 miles per hour. Yeah, that's moving at a pretty good clip with this line of storms. And then another pretty good little hefty cell here with some hail south of Perry, Oklahoma. And to give you some perspective, if you know where Stillwater is, Stillwater's off to the north and east of Oklahoma City.
Special weather statement. Oklahoma.
And, turn that down a little bit there. Yeah, off and north and west of Stillwater, Oklahoma, or south of Perry, you've got some pretty good size hail here with that storm. And we'll go back down the line here. Looks like to the north and east of Kingfisher, north and east of Dover. Pretty good hail core right here in that area. And then the big hail is all coming out of this storm back here west of Kingfisher, between Watonga and Kingfisher, along Highway 33. Looks like a pretty darn good hail core there. But right now, that's what we're speaking of is hail. Hail and probably some wind gust. Maximum hail size with this particular storm here that's warned west of Kingfisher, up to about 1 3/4 inch hail. But that will cause some damage. That's between probably golf ball and tennis ball size hail. And that warning there will expire at about 7 p.m. this evening, Central Daylight Time. You go back to the south and west of this storm's up around Kingfisher. Oklahoma City's back over here to the right of the map. So we're looking straight west towards Elk City. Then you got Shamrock, Texas. This is the Oklahoma-Texas border, right here between Shamrock and Eric. Let me switch over to a different radar down here. Yeah, boy, that may turn into a wind-producing machine here. I will almost bet you that there will be some wind in that storm there. And looks like there has been in the past. 71 mile per hour gusts, 2 miles northeast of Childress, Texas. That was about 5:45 this evening. So that's almost been about 45 minutes ago. And yeah, a couple of pretty good wind gusts there, measured by their ASOS stations there at Childress as this particular storm moved in. You can see it actually bowing out here. Your strongest winds are going to be at the apex of that bow. So let's zoom in. Looks like that's going to affect Altus, Oklahoma, Elmer, Oklahoma, and Magnum, Oklahoma within the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. Take this very, very serious, folks. Up to 70 mile an hour winds could cause some considerable damage, wind damage. These storms, they did report 71 mile an hour winds there at the ASOS station in Childress, Texas, when this storm come through. This is in southwestern Oklahoma, moving toward Altus, Oklahoma. Will affect Altus by about 6:40 p.m. this evening. So that's only about 10 minutes away. These are some of the other cities that this storm's going to affect, and the time frames here on the left of this box in the upper right-hand part of the screen that you can see. Those are the times on the left that they should be affecting these communities here that's listed on the right side of that box. But that's a pretty serious storm. Up to 70 mile an hour winds have been reported with this storm back here in eastern Texas before it come into the Oklahoma area, southwestern Oklahoma. But these storms are still developing back off to the south and west into the western part of Oklahoma. So let's check on these storms back up here on the north part of all this.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma.
New severe thunderstorm warning for Custer and Washita counties in Oklahoma until 7:15 this evening. That's just a brand new warning that's come out. I'm hoping everybody can hear me. I've been having some technical problems over the last several days, and I believe I'm getting everything ironed out, and hopefully everybody can hear me all right with this broadcast. This is one of the first times I've used the newer system that I've upgraded to. But these storms here south of Ponca City, let's take a closer look at these. Several severe thunderstorm warnings here between Ponca City, Oklahoma, and Stillwater, Oklahoma. That's in north central Oklahoma, straight south of Wichita area in northern Oklahoma. Let's check out some of the cities these will be affecting here. Looks like with this warning here east of Hennessy, real big hail core right here. I mean, that is just insane. That's probably going to be about 1.5 to 2 inch size hail within that hail core. That'll be affecting Marshall by 6:36 p.m. this evening, and Orlando by 7:02 p.m. this evening. Both of those communities are in the path of this fairly dangerous hail-producing storm. You've got Kingfisher back down here to the southwest of that. See if there's any other little... Yeah, looks like Highway 51, just south of Highway 51 and west of Highway 74 will be some of the areas that'll be affecting. You've got a pretty good hail core here west of Red Rock, Oklahoma. West of Red Rock, it looks like it's right over the top of Highway 15, or off to the east of Interstate 35 here west of Red Rock, Oklahoma. Producing some pretty darn good size hail within that cell there. Let's go up here on the Kansas side and check out some of these storms. Looks like we've got a cell up here south and west of Chanute, Kansas. That's in Yosho County, Kansas, between Chanute and Yotashe. Pretty good hail cores with that storm. That's just north of Altoona, east of Benedict in that area. And those are moving off to the east-northeast. So you folks in Chanute probably can expect some pretty good size hail here within the next 10 to 20 minutes. It doesn't look like there's a warning of any type for that cell yet. We will see if they issue a warning for that particular cell there for hail here in a few minutes. Another pretty good hefty storm there south of Howard, between Howard and Moline, Kansas. Like I said, the cells up here in Kansas just aren't quite as stout as the ones in Oklahoma quite yet. No warnings on the ones in Kansas at this point in time. Let's kind of show you here just to give you an idea of why they did issue a tornado watch in southwestern Missouri. And that's for these cells here north and west of Springfield, Missouri. This is the Springfield radar site here. Nevada, Missouri, off to the east of Nevada, Missouri, is where these hefty cells are located at, with some pretty good hail cores in those cells.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma.
Looks like they just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning for Kay County, Oklahoma, until 7:15 p.m. But right now, the cells that I'm keeping an eye on for potential tornadic activity that may ramp up here. This is in a tornado watch until midnight here for most of central Oklahoma. And Kay County's right in this area up here in north central Oklahoma. Yeah, these cells, anywhere up to about 1 3/4 inch hail. Man, that's some pretty good size hail. And a maximum wind gusts of 60 miles per hour.
Special weather statement. Oklahoma.
Let's check this cell up here. The areas that this cell up here around Ponca City is going to affect. It'll affect the communities of Kildare, Coss City, Webb City, and Scheidler between now and 7:26 p.m. this morning for almost the next hour. It's moving almost due east. so far, these storms have not produced any tornado warnings as of this evening. Right now, all we are looking at with these storms is large hail and damaging winds. That's so far. That does not mean that once the low-level jet kicks in here this evening, that these things may start spinning a little bit more. But yeah, right now, so far, we're talking about some pretty good-sized hail cores. The biggest hail core right now is like right along Highway 51, just west of Highway 74. And that's between Hennessy and Mulhall, Oklahoma. That'll be affecting this community of Marshall by 6:36 p.m. this evening, about right now, and the community of Orlando by 7:02 p.m. This blue and white area here, that's a really intense hail core. Man, I'd say probably upwards of at least 2 inches in diameter with that particular hail core right there. Let's check. Don't see any recent reports yet. If you live in these areas, make sure you report this to your local law enforcement agency. If you get some hail that good, that size, anything over 3/4 of an inch, you'd probably want to report so the National Weather Service can get your reports. Sorry about that. I'm bringing up some video. Trying to keep an eye on some of the storm chasers down there in that area to see exactly what they're seeing live. If you folks are interested in getting any of your own weather radar software or apps, I would suggest that you look into WeatherWise, WeatherWise, all one word. Google that or just put that into your search provider, and that will get you some pretty good radar for not only your phone, tablet, but also Windows PCs. But with that WeatherWise app, you can also get on there and click on some of the storm chasers they have affiliated with that particular software and apps. And you can watch these videos live while they're out there chasing these storms. But yeah, that's right now we're pretty much tracking these storms here between about Ponca City, back to the south and west towards Hennessy, Oklahoma. Then the line kind of breaks up there. I would almost imagine this will turn into a line of storms anywhere from about Fredonia, Kansas, it looks like, all the way back down towards Altus, Oklahoma. in the very southwestern corner of Oklahoma. But these storms, it's out by themselves, especially this one around Kingfisher, and then in the one off to the north and east of Kingfisher between Hennessy and Stillwater. Those are probably a couple I'm going to keep an eye on in case they decide to start rotating.
Okay.
Okay, I think I got that problem taken care of with you not hearing the audio. Here we go. Looks like we've got a chaser. Oh, yeah, that's got a good wall cloud there. I'm looking at some video now from Sam Dienst.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma.
From the cell here west of Kingfisher. Pretty good little wall cloud on that. Don't look like it's actually rotating quite yet, but there is a wall cloud. One of these days I will get permission from some of these folks that chase us to add this live video to my feed, but right now I have to get permission from these chasers to be able to do that because they do monetize this stuff and they make a little money from their videos. So, but yeah, if you are interested in watching some of these chasers, look into the WeatherWise app or PC software. But yeah, this down here west of Kingfisher, and I would imagine the video I am looking at is probably going to be of a wall cloud here on the south end of this particular storm. Let me make sure I'm I'm on the right radar. But stay tuned, folks, just in case these do go tornado warned. Right now, the warnings, the flashing boxes that you see right now are severe thunderstorm warnings for these particular very, very, very severe cells here west of Kingfisher, Oklahoma. And then you've got another cell up here to the northeast of Kingfisher, just south of Marshall, Oklahoma. But I am definitely keeping my eye on these two cells here. And Kingfisher, Oklahoma, is in north central Oklahoma. As you see here around Guthrie, Oklahoma, that's just north of Oklahoma City, several miles. And I-35 is between Wichita and Oklahoma City. And Oklahoma City is just right down here at the very bottom of the map. But yeah, that's looks like in the video that the wall cloud is starting to wrap up a little bit. So I would not be surprised that this doesn't go tornado warned here eventually. Right now we've got severe thunderstorm warnings from looks like almost the Kansas-Oklahoma border, south and east of Ark, Kansas City, back to the south and west towards Ponca City. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning there. And a really good sized cell, big cell, hail core here south of Ponca City between Red Rock and Ponca City. And then you got to go back down here towards Kingfisher to the next two bigger cells. And it looks like the ones back in southwestern Oklahoma is starting to ramp up also. Looks like Cordell, Weatherford, Texas, and Cordell, Texas. Or now, I take that back. This is going to be on the Oklahoma side. So that's Weatherford, Oklahoma, and Cordell, Oklahoma. I apologize for that. But those are a couple other cells down there that I will definitely keep an eye on in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. Those
severe thunderstorm warning. Texas.
But those particular cells there will likely stay pretty severe along the frontal boundary in that area. We still do not have any type of tornado warnings as of right now, as of 6:46 this evening. All the particular warnings that are flashing on your screen right there are all severe thunderstorm warnings. All the way up and down that line. Still no severe thunderstorm warnings in Kansas quite yet. These will affect southeast Kansas eventually. I know our humidity this evening has been pretty darn extreme, which means our dew points are pretty high. So all
severe
these
thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma.
So all these severe thunderstorms this evening are going to have a lot of fuel to work with. Something else we're going to keep our eye out on are these individual cells out here west of Bartlesville. When they're out here out in front of the line like that, they can go tornadic and ramp up pretty darn quick. So that is something we will keep our eye on too. But especially this one down here around Kingfisher, it does have a wall cloud with it. I really couldn't tell on the video that I was watching whether it's rotating or not, but and wow, this cell back here around Cordell, Oklahoma, between Cordell and Oak City, Oklahoma, that is some pretty big hail. That will affect Cordell, Oklahoma by
severe
about
thunderstorm
6:49 p.m.
Oklahoma.
But yeah, that hail core there is ginormous. That'll affect community of Corn and possibly Colony, Oklahoma, eventually. We're looking at an area here north and west of Cordell, Oklahoma, just north of Highway 152 and west of Highway 183. But that is, right now, as we speak, it's just in a severe thunderstorm warning. Winds up to 60 mile an hour and about 2-inch hail can be expected with that storm. We'll go back up in here to north central Oklahoma. Not really a lot has changed. The biggest hail cores we've got are off to the west of Orlando, north of Kingfisher along 81 Highway. And then you got to go north and east a little ways to south and east of Red Rock, Oklahoma, between Red Rock and Morrison. Pretty good hail core there. And that is just crossing Highway 412 as we speak. And then from there,
severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma.
From there,
severe
you've got
thunderstorm warning. Texas.
You've got several individual cells. That's definitely what I'm going to be keeping an eye on up here in northeastern Oklahoma. You've got these individual cells that's out here in front of the line. You've got this line between about Ponca City, Ark City, in that area, and then you've got these individual cells that are starting to develop out here in front of that line. When you get individual cells like that, they can usually ramp up pretty quick and possibly give us some rotation, if not a possible brief tornado touchdown or two. But all these areas that we're looking at are currently in a tornado watch until midnight tonight.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma.
New severe thunderstorm warning for Kay and Noble counties in Oklahoma. Yeah, and these severe thunderstorm warnings go all the way down into northwestern Texas now, between Paducah and Monday in that area. And that will just continue going on down the line, probably around Snyder and Coahoma and east of Midland eventually. But we will keep our eye down there too. But right now, I want to run back up here.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma.
Between Bartlesville and Stillwater, and these individual cells out here in front of the big line of storms is what I want to kind of keep an eye on. Yeah, right now, be the Missouri, Kansas counties on the Kansas side are in the tornado watch for southwestern Missouri also. But there's a handful of counties, especially here in, I don't believe Labette County is under a tornado watch yet. But the counties over here along the Missouri border are under a tornado watch until 1 a.m. I would imagine they'll probably wind up issuing another one to fill in these areas for Labette, Neosho, and Allen counties. The bigger hail cores in Oklahoma right now. We're still seeing this one here south and east of Red Rock, Oklahoma. Getting ready to cross Highway 177 there, south and east of Red Rock, Oklahoma. And you might
Severe
say,
thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma.
You might say,
Texas.
where in the heck is Red Rock, Oklahoma? But that's straight south of Ponca City, Oklahoma, between Ponca City and Stillwater. And then you've got to go back down the line. The hail core here around Kingfisher is not looking as big as it was, but I'm sure you're still getting some hail there in that area. Looks like up to that warning will expire in about 6 minutes or so. And 60-mile-an-hour winds and 1 1/4 inch hail is expected with that storm there, north and west of Kingfisher, Oklahoma. And then we'll go back down the line here to around Weatherford, Cordell. Pretty good size hail core there. It looks like the biggest hail core of the day right now. Just off to the north of Cordell, getting ready to cross Highway 183. These are all just severe thunderstorm warned at this point in time. So far in Oklahoma and Kansas and Texas and Missouri, we have not had any tornado warnings as of yet. check some of the storm reports that's out there so far this evening. Yeah, the biggest hail that's been reported with these storms a little bit earlier was about 2.5-inch size hail, and that's tennis ball size. And that would have been 6 miles east of Watonga in Blaine County, Oklahoma. No hail reports has come into the Storm Prediction Center since about, what was that, about 6:03 p.m., about an hour ago was the last hail report that they've gotten. Looks like they've got some power poles down a mile east of Quanah, Texas. And that was with that Bow Echo storm that I was showing you earlier. Power poles and lines are down in Hardeman County, Texas. And that was about a half an hour ago. Let's run down here and see if this Bow Echo is still bowing, and it is. Yeah, I imagine Altus, Oklahoma probably got some pretty good winds with that. Expecting at least 70-mile-an-hour winds. Quanah, Oklahoma, that's where they had the power poles down. Here around Gould in Harmon County, Oklahoma, 61-mile-an-hour winds with one of their Mesonet stations there. And then earlier, Childress, Texas, with the Mesonet had a 71-mile-an-hour wind report. And what I mean by a Bow Echo is you see this line of storms between about Hobart and then Vernon, Texas down here. You see how it bows out. Well, at the apex of that bow, probably between Hobart and about the west of Snyder area there, you'll see the apex of that bow. And right there at the apex is where you're going to get your stronger winds with this line of storm as it moves through the area. So that, we are definitely keeping our eye on that. We've got several cells out by themselves, but I'd say right now not all the ingredients are quite there for rotating supercells. Yes, they are rotating, but what I mean by rotating supercells are rotating all the way to the ground. That's why we have not had any tornado warnings with these storms as of yet this evening.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma.
Yeah, it looks like these individual cells here in northeastern Oklahoma that I was talking about a little bit ago. Yeah, those will all be ingested into the line of storms back here around Ponca City eventually. And these storms up here between Arkansas City, Kansas, Ponca City, and Stillwater, they still got a little bit of hail in it, but they're not quite as severe as what they were. And when I went live about
Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma.
When I went live about 30 to 45 minutes ago, I mean, we had several warnings on these. Severe thunderstorm warnings for the hail. And right now, so far in north central Oklahoma, we are talking about hail, very, very large hail with these storms. This one here around Ponca City, northwest of Pawnee, Oklahoma, up to about 1.5 inch size hail. Anywhere from about 1 inch to 1.5 inches in some of these bigger cells. About 1.25 inch hail here. What's this report? Here's inch hail. That was 6 miles northwest of Mulhall, Oklahoma in Logan County. And that was reported at about 5:57.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma.
So about 3 minutes ago, this particular hail core here had about inch hail in it. And it's off to the south and west of Orlando, Oklahoma. Looks like it just crossed Highway 51. That cell there will probably affect Interstate 35 in about the next 20 minutes or so. According to my prediction here, the storm ETA will be about 7:21 p.m. around Interstate 35 if that hail core here holds together. South and west of Orlando, Oklahoma. All right, we're going to check all this back down here around Kingfisher. Looks like it's went through a revamp a little bit. Still expecting about 1.25 inches hail with that storm northeast of Kingfisher, Oklahoma. That should arrive to Highway 74 area north of Crescent at about 7:37 p.m. in the next 35 minutes.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma. Severe thunderstorm warning. Texas.
Yeah, with this cell here north of Kingfisher. Severe thunderstorm warning severe thunderstorm was located near Dover, moving east at 25 miles per hour. So these down here on the south end of the line are not moving real fast, about 25 mile an hour. You can expect 60 mile an hour wind gusts and $50 size hail. Locations impacted include Kingfisher, Crescent, Dover, Cimarron City,
Special weather statement.
and Level, Oklahoma.
Texas.
Check on these cells up here west of Bartlesville, Oklahoma, and northeastern Oklahoma. Looks like a pretty good hail core there north and west of Pawhuska, Oklahoma. That'd be in Osage County, Oklahoma. And pretty strong storms starting to move into the southern Kansas area. No warnings quite yet. But between Chautauqua and Caney, we've got a pretty strong cell there. But so far, Montgomery County, Labette County, Neosho, those areas are all in the clear. These cells will continue moving off to the east. And pretty much what we're looking at is a cold front. Probably the cold front goes from about Chanute back to the south and west, all the way down into northwestern Texas. And then we've got a warm front from about Chanute, all the way from about Chanute to Nevada, Missouri, and then north of Bolivar and north of Lebanon. And then along that warm front is where these storms over here in southwestern Missouri are starting to fire up. They are under a tornado watch in southwestern Missouri until about 1 a.m. But right now, the big story is the very large hail in these storms as they ramp up and down a little bit. And then you've got the wind producer down here east of Altus, Oklahoma. Let me check real quick. I was going to check real quick. Yeah, they're still getting some pretty good winds here on the leading edge of this storm. Probably not quite as much as what they were. Let's go back to, about a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust reported by an emergency manager 3 miles west-northwest of Hedrick, Oklahoma, in Jackson County. Thunderstorm wind of about 60 miles per hour reported right along 62 highway east of Altus, Oklahoma. So it looks like those wind speeds probably a little bit less than what they were about an hour ago.
Special weather statement. Colorado, Kansas, severe thunderstorm watch. Texas, tornado watch. Texas.
Kind of checking to see where they've issued these new watches in Texas for all my listeners down there. If anybody's wondering, if you have not checked out Russ's Weather Recon, make sure you check it out on YouTube. That's where I'm streaming mainly. I also stream live on Facebook and Twitch.
Severe thunderstorm warning.
All at the same time.
Texas.
I'm streaming.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma.
So make sure you follow my sites so that way you are notified when I do go live. Subscribe to my site on YouTube, and then you can follow me on Facebook. And so that way you'll know when I do go live in the future. Our next chances of severe weather, besides this evening, are probably going to be again Friday afternoon and evening along this same cold front. Believe it or not, this cold front's not going to go very far this evening. Just checking to see if there's any rotation in any of these storms up here in north central Oklahoma.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma. Tornado watch. Texas.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of rotation here east of Red Rock, but it's not extremely strong. Let me check some more gate-to-gate shear here, which is a rotation product. Yeah, here north and east of Kingfisher, there's a little bit of rotation in that. That's probably why they were showing a wall cloud there earlier on the video I was watching. And here between Orlando and Mulhall, a little bit of rotation, probably upper level rotation in that storm. And you do have to have that kind of rotation.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Texas.
You do have to have that kind of rotation in these storms to make them hail producers also. Yeah. Yeah, there's not any rotation in the bow echo down here in southwestern Oklahoma, which is expected.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma.
But right now we're dealing with severe storms, pockets of severe storms here between Ponca City, Oklahoma, and north central Oklahoma. Getting ready to move into northeastern Oklahoma. And then that goes back to the south and west to just west of Stillwater. Stillwater doesn't look like you're under a severe thunderstorm warning quite yet, but that will change here in just a few minutes, it looks like. The warning back off to the west of Stillwater will expire in about 30 minutes, so I would say within the next 30 minutes, Stillwater, you'll probably be under a severe thunderstorm warning. And then this cell back here north and east of Kingfisher, it's moving off to the north and east pretty good. Not really any communities. Looks like Mulhall, you'll probably be in the path of that hail-producing storm. Things really have not ramped up quite yet for these things to rotate to the point where they'll produce a tornado. Right now, we're just dealing with some pretty large hail cores, which is producing some pretty large hailstones. And then we'll go back down here in southwestern Oklahoma, north and east of Cordell. This particular cell here, southeast of Clinton, northwest of Colony. In that area, let's see, that'll affect hydro by about 7:53 p.m. this evening. Corn, you'll stay south of the hail core, but right now this is a pretty large hail core. 60-mile-an-hour winds can be expected with this storm, as well as 2-inch hail. Looks like it's off north of Highway 54A right now. It'll be at Highway 54 by about 7:30 p.m. to the north of Corn, Oklahoma. I hope they have not planted their corn in Corn, Oklahoma quite yet. And this will probably affect Highway 54 south of Weatherford, Oklahoma, by about 7:30 p.m. in the next 15 minutes. but up to 2-inch hail in that hail core there. This is in southwestern Oklahoma. The cell is right here. Oklahoma City's off to the right side of the map here. And it looks like a really big hail core down here in northern Texas. Off to the north and west of Vernon, Texas. Be affecting Highway 283 here shortly with that hail. And then that will move off to the north and east and affect Davidson and go off to the south
Special
of
weather
Frederick,
statement.
Oklahoma.
Texas.
The windy border here, that is the Texas-Oklahoma border with the Red River. There. So this cell here is just off to the north and west of Vernon, Texas. It does have a severe thunderstorm warning for that cell. 60-mile-an-hour winds and up to 2.5-inch size hail. A little bit of wind reported back here with this storm, 72 mile an hour with a mesonet, 8 miles southeast of Guthrie in King County, Texas. And we're all the way back down to Colorado City, Texas is the farthest south that these cells go. So that's back off to the west.
Severe
southwest
thunderstorm
of
warning.
Abilene,
Oklahoma.
Texas. We have still not had any severe warned cells yet. Knock on my wood desktop. Here in southeastern Kansas. Looks like a pretty hefty cell here between Coffeyville and Sedan. Moving into western Montgomery County, Kansas. Let me bring up my hail product here with the radar.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma. Texas. Tornado watch. Kansas.
Yeah, they just issued a new tornado watch for the rest of southeastern Kansas until midnight, it looks like. So Chautauqua, Cali, Harper, Sumner, Labette, Montgomery, Neosho, and Wilson counties are now under a tornado watch until midnight tonight for the next almost 4.5 hours. This particular radar product I'm looking at here is our possibility of severe hail product. As you see here, north and east of Kingfisher. Let me go to the inspect. And by those percentages, by putting my cursor over that particular blue and yellow blob, that shows that there's about a 57% chance that the hail in that particular storm core will be at least severe level. And then we go back down here to the Corn, Oklahoma cell. So there's probably about a 70% chance that that cell there is going to have at least severe sized hail. This here product is the estimated largest hail that is expected with that cell. and probably up to about 1.5 inches in diameter hail can be expected with that storm. And then with the bow echo down here in southwestern Oklahoma, there's no hail in that hardly at all. Some of these cells here south and west of Bartlesville. Let's see here. South and east of Pawhuska, almost up to 1 inch size hail now. And then up here in northeastern Osage County, Oklahoma, up to about 1 inch size hail in that cell too. And then you've got some hail up here north of Highway 166 between Havana and Peru. And that's about 1/2 inch size hail. Be expected with that storm.
Special weather statement. Oklahoma.
It looks like the largest hail we've got right now in Oklahoma is off to the north and west of Crescent. That's about 1 inch to 1.5 inch size hail in that storm. We're going to look at a little bit closer up view of this hailstorm here around Vernon. That looks like it's affecting the city of Vernon. Yeah,
Severe
that's
thunderstorm
almost
watch.
4-inch size hail now.
Texas.
In areas north and west of Vernon. Wow. You live in Vernon, Texas right now. You've got an area here that's about 4 inches in diameter size hail. That's pretty good size. It's probably at least grapefruit size. Wow. That's going to affect Davidson, Texas. Actually, Davidson, Oklahoma. That's going to be on the Oklahoma side, since it's north of the Red River there, by about 7:25, and Hollister, Oklahoma, by about 7:46 this evening. So that is a pretty good sized hailstorm, and that's probably causing quite a bit of damage.
Tornado watch.
In Vernon,
Oklahoma.
Texas, right now. But right now we're tracking some severe storms. Nothing tornadic as of right now. No tornado warnings have been issued so far by the National Weather Service offices in Kansas, Oklahoma, or Texas as of yet. That does not mean that these storms won't ramp up this evening and possibly spin up a tornado or two. Most of central and eastern Oklahoma are now covered by tornado watches until about midnight. And also southeastern Kansas is now covered by a tornado watch until midnight.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Texas.
And then southwestern Missouri, most of southwestern Missouri and off into south central Missouri is also under a tornado watch until about 1 a.m. But we're looking at these boxes here, these polygon boxes. At this level on my radar, it shows in red. That's severe thunderstorm warnings. That's what we've been mainly dealing with, is some very large hail in these storms as they ramp up and down. But, and then we've got a wind-producing storm down here in southwestern Oklahoma. See what that's doing right now, up to about 70-mile-an-hour winds. And the apex of that bow echo right now is going to be straight east
Severe
of Roosevelt.
thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma.
straight
Texas.
east of Roosevelt,
Special
Oklahoma,
weather statement.
along Highway
Texas.
19. And this wind-producing storm looks like it's going to affect quite a few different cities. Anywhere from Snyder, Otebo, Mountain View, Indiahoma, Carnegie, Fort Cobb, Apache, Binger, Gracemont, and Anadarko between now and about 8:05 this evening. But this is a wind-producing storm. It's had history of producing 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, as this line of storm in southwestern Oklahoma marches off to the east. Still watching these two cells here. They're not really being messed with any other storms around them. They're still out kind of by themselves. A couple storms here between Stillwater and Kingfisher, Oklahoma, and north central Oklahoma, between about Wichita and Oklahoma City area. These storms right now have got some pretty good sized hail within the hail cores of those storms. Anywhere from about an inch to an inch and a half size hail. But they still interest me because they're out there by themselves. They're getting a lot of warm, moist air pulled into the storms, so they're going to probably continue to be by themselves like this, and maybe even turn into a couple supercells here as the evening progresses. But this cell here between Pawhuska and Bartlesville, Oklahoma, it is producing some hail. Let's see what size hail that is producing right now. It's about up to an inch and a half size as we speak right now. Looks like that'll be heading off towards the north and east towards Highway 60. Between Highway 99 and Bartlesville, Oklahoma, along Highway 60. But about an inch to an inch and a half size hail with that storm. I don't believe there's any warnings for that quite yet, but these things are pulsing up and down so quick. They usually don't have time to warn for these cells like this, these hail producing severe cells. But the closest warning to Bartlesville is going to be clear back here to let's see here. Yeah. We got a storm back to the south and west around Fairfax, Oklahoma. That'll be affecting Fairfax.
Severe thunderstorm warning.
By 7:32.
Texas.
And Pawhuska by about 8:09. So probably some wind and hail in that storm there. And then we've still got a little flashing cell here coming across the Oklahoma-Kansas border between Chautauqua and Caney. But so far tonight, nothing has been tornado warned. So that is something to keep in mind. We are probably missing an ingredient or two for tornadoes to happen so far this evening. That does not mean that things can't change in a heartbeat. I've seen it happen more than once. That's why I'm here with you, kind of keeping an eye on what's going on, and till some of this moves out of the area.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Texas. Flood advisory. Oklahoma.
Got some pretty stout cells here between about Neodesha, Independence, and then back down to Caney. These storms here will be affecting Montgomery County within the next, actually they are in northwestern Montgomery County is probably the strongest cell now. North of Elk City, Kansas. Probably getting a little bit of hail right there. But your winds there in Independence, Kansas will probably pick up within the next 30 minutes or so. And you'll definitely get some heavy rain out of this particular cell as it moves off to the east-northeast. Neodesha, you will be getting some very heavy rain here shortly also, if not a little bit of dime-sized to pea-sized hail. But we are keeping an eye on some of these storms here in northeastern Oklahoma. At this point, very, very heavy rain, some small hail. The largest hail right now in northeastern Oklahoma is probably falling here just west of Bartlesville. And that's almost to go over Highway 60, between Highway 99 and Bartlesville along Highway 60. And I would say that's probably about 1.5 inch size hail in that hail core there.
Severe thunderstorm warning. Oklahoma.
Yeah, I know a lot of chasers were out tonight, but actually I'm kind of glad we're not having any tornadic storms tonight. But I'll tell you what, we do need the rainfall here really bad in eastern Oklahoma and southeastern Kansas. We're supposed to get anywhere from about 2 to 4 inches of rainfall between now and Friday and Saturday morning. So we do need this rainfall really bad here in southeastern Kansas. So the way I look at it, I would much rather have the rainfall and not have the bad stuff that very well may come with it. All these flashing boxes down here in north central, back down to southwestern Oklahoma. Those are all severe thunderstorm warnings. Pretty much 2 different areas, it looks like. You've got the stuff moving into northeastern Oklahoma between Wichita, Kansas up here and Oklahoma City. All this is moving
Severe
off to the
thunderstorm
east,
warning.
northeast.
Oklahoma. Texas.
And then you've got the almost straight north and south oriented line, which is pretty much wind producers right now. And that goes from about, Thomas and Kingfisher area back down to around Vernon, Texas. Pretty good hail core here around Vernon, Texas, to the east of Vernon. And then you've got some warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings all the way down east of Snyder and southwest of Stamford, Texas. But right now, southeastern Kansas, your main show looks to be
Special weather statement.
pretty heavy rainfall.
Oklahoma.
Okay. I'm hoping the stream, I'm going to have to go back and probably watch it myself after the fact, but been having issues with my way I had my stream set up before, and I've had to do some changing over the last week or week and a half. And so this is one of my longest streams that I've had since I've changed things around, so I want to make sure everything's working. If you're liking what I'm doing, make sure you're subscribing to my YouTube page. Hit the notification bell so you'll know when I do go live. And follow me on my Facebook page at Russ Weather Recon. You can find me there. And I also I also stream live at the same time on Twitch. I stream live on those 3 platforms all at the same time. And so follow me at least on one of those, and make sure you subscribe, follow, and like. And I really do appreciate everybody that tunes in and kind of listens to what I have to say about the weather events. And Russ's Weather Recon has been going for about 10 months now. And if you haven't watched any of my videos on YouTube or Facebook or anything, get out there and watch some of them. Got some pretty informative stuff out there on weather.
Tornado watch.
I mainly
Kansas.
cover the Great Plains states of the United States of America, and North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas are the states that I cover for just about any facets of severe weather. On Monday evenings at about 5:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time, every Monday evening I'll put out a 7-day forecast, 7-day presentation on the upcoming week and then following weekend for all those states that I just mentioned. I'm also going to do something special here coming up, and probably midweek I'm going to do a little bit more with the state of Kansas. Make sure you tune in and follow along for all that. But I'm going to, since that's originally where I'm from, that's where I've lived all my life, is in Kansas. I'm currently living in Labette County, Kansas, in Parsons, Kansas. But about 15 miles away from my hometown and the area that I grew up in. I'm just outside of McCune, Kansas, in Crawford County. But that's where I've spent most of my life in, and I want to kind of bring something back to the state of Kansas, and hope you all tune in for that. That'll probably be within the next week or two that I'll put something together just for the state of Kansas, and hopefully Kansas folks will enjoy that. But this evening, everything's pretty much wrapped up. We've still got the windstorm going on down here in southwestern Oklahoma. We've still got the severe thunderstorm warnings that go along with the windstorm down there. And then we've got the line of storms up here that goes from about Chanute, Kansas, southeastern Kansas, back to the west of Bartlesville. And eventually that will all fill in with the other line down here in west central Oklahoma. But down here in southwestern Oklahoma, these storms are all wind producers with a little bit of hail thrown in here at each end of that Bow Echo here east of Altus, Oklahoma. And then the only severe thunderstorm warnings is here between Kingfisher and Stillwater, Oklahoma. Like I said, Stillwater, you're probably going to get some hail before all this is said and done. Pretty good hail cores.
Severe thunderstorm
inch to
warning.
an inch and a half size hail
Texas.
can be expected
Severe
with these
thunderstorm
severe
warning.
thunderstorm warning
Oklahoma.
cells here. And yeah, those warnings there will likely be extended to the Stillwater area within the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. And then these are all turning into a pretty hefty line, pretty strong line of storms that'll probably produce some pretty strong winds there in northeastern Oklahoma over the next hour or so. Nothing really to speak of in southeastern Kansas. Just got some really heavy rain. Looks like that'll be moving into the Independence, Kansas area, Neodesha, and then up to between Buffalo and Chanute. But that's all some pretty heavy rain right now. I think I'm going to jump off of here for now. Been on here for almost a couple hours now. And if things do ramp back up this evening, I will jump back on here. Like I said, make sure you subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like the video and hit that notification bell. When you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified on your phone, tablet, or on your computer when I do go live the next time. And make sure you follow me on my Facebook page, Russ Weather Recon. You can find me there on Facebook and on Twitch also. But that way you will know when I do go live for any severe weather events. If I don't see you within the next couple of hours here,
Texas,
again this evening, I will likely go live Friday evening. Supposed to have some severe weather again Friday. And appreciate everybody tuning in this evening. Thank you. And tell your friends, tell your family to check me out at Russ's Weather Recon. Thank you, folks. And until next time, stay weather aware. And hope to see you all again.